Man, this is Deion Dawkins, man, and you're listening to The Scoop on OurScoop.com. You already know.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Scoop, OurScoop.com's podcast, Season 9, Episode 37. I'm John DiCarlo, OurScoop.com's editor. We've got a full house with us today. Kyle Gauss, Ramir Vaughn, Declan Landis, and Johnny Zawizlak. Have some football recruiting news to bring your way. Declan's on or around this date, which he has just taken so much pride in.
Absolutely.
We'll look at some famous number 37s if we can scrounge them up. Some transfer portal news, lighter mailbag this week, but some fun stuff to get to too, because now we're heading into the lean summer months. But we'll have some guests coming your way.
The dog days, if you will.
The dog days of summer, just coined by Kyle Gauss.
Yeah,
it's a good song too.
Yeah, never before said, uttered into this world.
Not once.
Some would say that they're over. Florence would say that they're over.
Better run. I think of any of the other weird lyrics.
The Scoop, as always, brought to you guys by Greenspan and Greenspan Injury Lawyers. If you've been injured while on the road or the highway and the crash was someone else's fault, the insurance company is not going to be on your side. You need us. Temple Law grads will fight hard to get the compensation that you deserve. We only get paid if we win, so in Pennsylvania or New York, call us today at 215-261-7359. That's 215-261-7359. And you can find them on the web at greenspans-law.com. That's greenspans-law.com. Any other song lyrics we're throwing out there?
I was literally like chapping my teeth to Dog Days Are Over while you were saying that. So I was like, bobbed my head a little bit. Johnny bobbed his head. We're vibing here.
I think Johnny just did it because he saw you doing it.
Do you guys have a favorite summer song?
Summertime Sadness, Lana Del Rey. I like to just be brought down a level.
The remix or the original?
The original, not the one they play in the club. Okay, I want the sad Lana Del Rey.
Johnny, can you sing that for us?
I don't know the words, so no.
Yes, you do.
I don't believe you for a second.
I just told you half the chorus by telling you the name of the song.
And the first part is, I've got that.
Yeah.
Can
Johnny,
you put it
country
together?
album coming.
Johnny, you go down to the shore a decent bit during the summer to hang out with your buddy Matt Dunn, younger brother of the esteemed Ray Dunn, who did play-by-play on the Fanatic this weekend for the Philadelphia Union.
Just incredible.
Yeah.
Did a great job.
Love Ray. Also play-by-play for Temple women's basketball. Johnny, you're driving down to the shore. What's a summer song that just fills your heart with happiness?
You're putting me on the spot here. I don't.
It's exactly what I'm doing. I'm putting you on the spot.
So I think things like this are based around nostalgia, right? Like it's not the actual song; it's like what it reminds you of.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give my actual answer here. It's a very summer song. You roll down the windows. You're fighting traffic on 76, but you don't mind that much because it's summer. It's a good vibe. Miley Cyrus, "Party in the USA" sets the tone.
No,
You're going down to the shore. You're going down the shore, man. If you've ever seen the episode of Always Sunny where they move out to the suburbs and Dennis is just fighting traffic on 76 and like screaming at people, that's me on the highway, but like with "Party in the USA" just playing. Did I scream at an auto shop employee yesterday? Yes. But am I listening to "Party in the USA" on the way down the shore? Also, yes.
Everything's looking up for old Kyle.
I called them at 5:00 to check on the status of my car, and it closes at 6. They said, "Oh, we're not going to get to it today." You could have called me at noon or 2 or any time. I shouldn't have to call you at 5 for you to tell me we're not going to do this.
Yeah, ridiculous.
So, yeah.
Angry Kyle when he's been denied good customer service is one of my
And then-
favorite Kyles.
Meg was like, "Oh, are we just going to wait? Like, are they just going to do it tomorrow?" I was like, "No, we're going to get the car right now. I'm not giving these people my business." Like, absolutely, as if that like impacts them. As if like the manager that I yelled at was like, "Oh,
after
no,
37
please."
years in the Gambler area, we've had to close up
I was
our
like,
shop.
I literally screamed. I was like, "Leave the keys in the front seat of the car. I'm on my way down there." They're like, "Okay, great, man."
Ramir, do you have a summer song?
Pardon Me by Katy Perry.
"Teenage Dream" by Katy Perry. Good summer song.
Obviously, California Girls too.
Yeah. "Teenage Dream" by Katy Perry was a big music video Monday song.
It was.
It's a great song.
Music Video Monday was what, Kyle?
We watched music videos on Mondays
With Paul.
and crushed a 6-pack from the bottle shop.
Yes.
And that was that.
At 1133 Daly Street.
Just dox him.
He's doxed himself. It's his old house.
That was my house. I own that house.
Sex on Fire by Kings of Leon.
Mm.
You hit that down a highway.
I thought your mom listened to this podcast.
It's a great song.
It is. Yeah.
I had my high school girlfriend that I dumped when she was still talking to me for a couple years afterwards would send me music that she thought I would like, and as like a rule, I would usually just try to like undermine the music and chop her down a little.
Naturally.
And she sent me that song, and I was like, "What a generic rock song!" I'm like, keep this out of my like, don't send me this crap. In reality, not that generic, very very unique way of singing.
Fantastic song.
But I was like, you know what? Just chopping it down.
Yeah, you can't let her know that.
She's about to have her second kid. Shout out to her.
Thanks for the music, Rex.
Johnny, have in the meantime, when all these great ideas are being thrown around, this intersection of sports and music and just
where's the sports?
Yeah. We haven't actually talked about it. It is a sports podcast, we think. Do you have a song
lifestyle
for us,
podcast?
Yeah, it's a lifestyle podcast.
The one that comes like Kyle said, like you brought up the idea of the nostalgia thing. When I was thinking, like when I was at the beach, like all the time over the summer, my family would play like Zach Brown Band, and it was Knee Deep with Jimmy Buffett, sorry, and the Zach Brown Band. That's the one.
That's a good song.
Coming to the
Good
link
song.
June 7th.
Are you going, Johnny?
I'm going legitimately because they're opening up for Kenny Chesney, so it's a huge party. So I will be there.
You'll have some sort of adjacent Uber back to Ambler story.
It's time travel. No, literally my Uber rides home are always exactly the same. It's, hey, are you Kyle? Yep, great. Pass out. See you in 55 minutes. Wake up at home. 5 stars.
Perfect experience.
I was talking like literally this came up this week. I was talking to my sister. I said obviously like men have like a lot of advantages in life. The biggest one is that I am allowed to fall asleep in an Uber and I have no fear for myself. I'm just like, great. See you at home. Obviously, Meg can't do that. A lot of people in society can't do that. I just do that.
I think we'd be remiss as well. Sorry, completely unrelated, but back to the topic at hand. If we didn't mention Love by Keisha Cole, which is our favorite song now.
Yes.
You and Romeo have a song?
Well, we've got multiple
that
we like listen to in the car and whatnot, but Love is far and beyond the best song.
Yes.
But it's not summer yet. So did you like this song last summer?
I didn't, but I just know that it's going to be like the 2024 summer song. Yeah.
There are a few that remind me of summer driving to the shore. Kyle will probably mock all of them.
Okay.
Ventura Highway by America.
Fine.
California Love by Tupac.
Great song.
This was I could have told you were going to do that.
It's a little on the nose.
Yeah.
It's like
I'm surprised you haven't. Wait, I don't want to cut you off because like I'm sure you'll get there, but I'm surprised you haven't interjected Biggie into this yet. That would be another John.
No, no, there's no Biggie on the nose.
Not even Hypnotized.
Well, it's a great song.
I could see that like on the highway.
Rise by Herb Alpert, which he sampled, reminds me more of Summer.
There you go.
And Summer Madness from Kool and the Gang is just a good.
There's some good like Childish Gambino songs too. That Summertime Magic comes to mind. Just dropped an album.
I don't usually associate Gambino with summer though.
No, but
like,
he dropped like I forget if it was an EP.
Camp.
No, that's definitely not summer. No, you're right about that.
I mean, it's literally about summer
because
camp.
The internet. There are songs in Because the Internet that are definitely summer. And then like Awaken My Love. You get a couple of those songs, but like late night,
earlier Gambino though, I associate more with like the fall, like Sweatpants, 3005, Heartbeat. Like I'd be like, okay, all of these are like, you know what? It's getting a little colder.
Yep,
a little colder. I'm gonna listen to this.
That's totally valid.
Yeah. Good music chat. Boys.
Yeah, good talk. Good talk.
Good music chat. Solid music chat. Declan, some famous number 37s, or not just you for. Well, you said you had a few.
I have a couple.
Famous number 37s. I think this is a bit of a tough week.
Yeah,
but maybe not.
When Ranker doesn't have an article about it, it's a little niche.
It's a sign that our season's coming to an end. Once we start
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Famous number 41s. I'm waiting for this one. Keep fire. Famous number 37s. Actually, I just thought of this. Obscure Eagles running backs. They had a running back named Junior Tatalatasi who played for Buddy Ryan. I think he wore number 37.
There you go. I thought it was famous 37s.
Hey,
got him.
Johnny, any baseball 37s? Any Phillies?
I wouldn't say this guy's famous, but I know Dougal Herrera wore it for his
Well,
entire.
he's
my
famous.
God,
He's,
good
he's
call.
notorious. He might not be
Yeah.
famous, but he's notorious.
I forgot
Yeah.
about that.
Ooh. Yeah.
Podcast I used to listen to as a child. One of the hosts.
Oh God, that
Loved-
just made that sentence just made me feel old.
Sorry
A,
about that.
a podcast I used to listen to as a child. Were you like 6 years
wee-
old, being like, "Oh, they pushed out the new what? Like it's Monday. That means it's release
Listening to
date for this
Serial?
podcast." Like, yeah, Serial. I mean, Serial. How old were you when Serial came out?
I have no idea when
That was
did
like
it come out?
2015.
Oh, that was not 6 years old. 2015, I would have been, 13, 12, 13. Yeah.
Okay.
Who you said you had a few?
Nick Van Exel is who I was getting
Yeah.
to.
Wow.
And then same team, Meta World Peace.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
he wore them for a couple years, but it was like his good years in the Lakers. He
Yeah.
wore 37.
Yeah. And then I have one more, but I'll space it out in case anybody has any
I've got a
they want to
couple.
add.
You got a couple? Ramir, you have anybody?
No.
Ramir just said no.
Shares a name with a chicken company owner.
Will Purdue?
Yes, no, a pitcher, Rangers, shares his name with a country music star who also owned chicken. It's a big thing in Seinfeld.
Oh, Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers.
Garth Brooks.
This pitcher had like a 3-year stretch where he was awesome. He now continues to bankrupt the Washington Nationals.
Only
Did he just retire?
Depends who you ask. If you ask his accountant, he did not. If you ask the Nationals,
Strasburg?
yeah, Strasburg. And then of course, Tricky Dick Nixon,
Who?
Richard Nixon, our 37th president.
That was a good one.
Do you know where he did his "I'm not a crook" speech?
No.
Walt
Downingtown.
Disney World. Walt Disney World. He was at the Continental Walt Disney World. It just opened up, and then he gave his "I'm not a crook" speech in 1937.
Actually
as
hilarious.
37th president in Walt Disney.
What a wild setting.
Did it at Grotto's Pizza, not far from Declan's house.
Other ones.
Lewis, Delaware.
The 2005 NFL MVP rushed for 27 touchdowns.
2005.
Owen Alexander.
Yes, that's a very good one.
And the best receiving fullback of all time.
Best receiving fullback of all
Mhm.
time.
Think Cardinals. And then later Patriots.
Larry Centers?
Yes.
Wow.
I have one more too.
Wouldn't Roger Craig, I know he wasn't 37, wouldn't Roger Craig be up there as one of the best receiving fullbacks of all
I
time?
mean, Larry Centers literally had like 100,
no,
101
definitely.
receptions as a
Yeah.
fullback in one season.
It's hard to beat. Hard to beat.
You had one more?
I have one more, yeah. Very famous corner. I would never have pictured him on this team until I Googled it before the show.
Has he made an in-home recruiting visit in the last 3 years?
he might have.
No, I think the whole thing is he has not.
Dion.
Oh, I didn't know that he didn't do that. But
Dion
yes,
Dion doesn't leave campus.
wore
he
it with
does.
the Ravens in 2004 and 2005.
Yeah,
Ah.
that's why he would retire, then come back and play 6 games with the Ravens.
Something like that.
And then like
I didn't know.
a young Javon Edmonds would just like critique
I was
him
just
for
gonna
not having
say.
good hip flexibility.
Yeah. Siobhan would have some sort
A
of
shell of himself.
on Twitter.
This team's garbage.
He invented Twitter just
A young man in Baltimore. And
See, Javon didn't know that like social media was being developed, but independently he came to that idea. He's like, there needs to be an outlet for this pure rage I have.
Anyway,
We love you, Javon. On or around this date, Declan?
thank you so much for joining us. We're looking at May 15th, which is crazy to say. That flew by. We're going to start off with the birthdays. Okay. We've got 2 famous football birthdays. The first one on May 15th in 1969. This famous running back was born, played for the Dallas Cowboys.
Tony Dorsett?
No, I'm gonna go Emmett.
Emmett Smith, May
Dorsett
15th.
would have been, yeah. Dorsett would have been.
1969.
Yeah, never mind.
In 1975, speaking of Javon and his favorite team, probably the most famous player to ever play for that franchise was born on May 15th, 1975.
Ray Lewis?
Ray Lewis. And now we're gonna hit the famous deaths before we go into the famous events.
Mhm.
I've only got one for you today. On this day in 1886, this famous American poet passed away in Amherst, Massachusetts. They were famous for never leaving the house.
Dr. Seuss. I'm just kidding.
Never left the house.
Yeah.
Well, women.
Who was a recluse
No.
that never? No,
Edgar Allan Poe.
Like this is
Edgar
like
Allan
one of
Edgar
those-
Allan Poe not only left the house, he was. I don't know. Let's go off on a tangent. Edgar Allan Poe died because he was walking down the street, and there used to be this thing where they would get people so drunk and force them to vote for their candidate. Like legitimately, they would like kidnap you, get you so drunk, and take you to 10 different polling places and say you're voting for this candidate, you're voting for this candidate, you're
My
voting for this
God.
candidate. Edgar Allan Poe was found. He had been sober before that, like disoriented, ended up dying from. They think he had been like kidnapped and forced to vote like 40 times.
Not the
That's just an
word
amazing
that I
story.
would
It's
have
it's an
follow up.
insane story.
It's an insane story. Yes, I am not endorsing voter fraud.
But if there's a way to do it,
No,
kidnapping people,
no,
getting them so
no,
drunk, and taking them
no,
to 40
no.
voting spots,
No,
that's the way to do it.
Here.
No more. We're not stuffing ballots anymore. We're not stuffing boxes. We're kidnapping people again,
Right here, just keep
loading them up on rye whiskey, and to the point that they're going to die 2 days later. And
Yikes!
getting them-
Amazing that you know that. I should.
He
say.
also had that's a theory. The other theory is he had a rival who they think also might have like been involved in it. There was some Baltimore drama going on with Edgar Allan Poe.
Baltimore beef.
Yikes.
As poets, how do you beef?
Hey man,
With a quill.
everybody's got
With a
options.
quill.
They were the initial
Everybody's
like
got
diss
options.
tracks.
Everybody got up.
Take 10 paces that way and then turn. Wait, we don't have the correct answer yet.
No, we don't.
Yeah, I don't know. The recluse thing throws me. I don't know which poet's famous for that.
Robert Frost.
No, Emily Dickinson.
Emily Dickinson never left the house.
Like toward the end of her life, yeah.
And we're out here naming colleges after her.
Yeah.
She never even left the house. That just seems going against her.
Great writer. Great writer. On this day in 1765, we're now hitting the history portion of this. On this day in 1765, Congress passed the Third Amendment, which is famous for when is
this
this
cannot
ever
be
gonna
true.
happen?
How would there have been an amendment to something that didn't come out for another?
Oh, it's an act. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's the act, but it later turned into the Third
You
Amendment.
could do tours down at Independence Hall.
Whatever. It later turned into the amendment, but this was the
Richie
initial
Ashburn signed the
act.
Declaration of
Would you
Independence.
answer the
Let's move
question?
along to the
Would
next
you
one.
answer the
Wait,
question? already?
I think you were still in the midst of giving us the clue, right?
No,
An act of Congress?
did
1760
Congress Parliament passed this act. Wait, hold on. Now I need to look it up because now it doesn't make any sense.
Once again, your commitment to your craft.
I'm here, aren't I?
You are.
Yeah, you made him commute for this. 2 hours each way.
I didn't make them. You could be on Zoom outside.
Oh, okay. So it's the reason the Third Amendment exists.
So the Third Amendment is no quartering
Combating
soldiers.
this. Yes.
Is the act of quartering soldiers? Wait,
It was the
what's-
Quartering Act
Oh, there you
of
go.
1765, which the British basically said soldiers have to stay in your house if we tell them to.
I think they could also like take over your house for a bit.
Yeah,
where
pretty
it's
much,
like,
yeah.
we're gonna need your cabin for about 6 to 12 years.
Yep.
And you're like, all right.
Not
Guess
a
I'm going
thing you
down
can
to
do.
guess I'm gonna go down to Baltimore and be forced to vote.
And write some poetry along the way.
Yeah.
On this day in 1928, this famous character made his debut with the premiere of the cartoon Plain Crazy.
Bugs
So it
Bunny.
wouldn't have been Mickey Mouse because that was Steamboat Willie. 1928
I wouldn't
plain.
be so quick on the draw there, friendo.
Didn't we just do a Mickey Mouse hint like 3 episodes ago?
Well, that was Steamboat Willie.
So is it Mickey Mouse?
It is Mickey Mouse.
Oh,
So he's like the
By name made his official debut. In
Okay.
1928.
So he had been out there for like 4 years just as Steamboat Willie,
Pretty much, yeah.
getting his swings in down like AAA before they debuted him in the majors.
Essentially, you can't go right. We saw with Jackson Holiday, you can't go up right away.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that's true.
On this day in 1940, in San Bernardino, California, brothers Maurice and Richard, I'm not going to say the last name, it'll give it away, opened a drive-in restaurant that gave rise to
Yep.
this famous fast food chain,
Mickey D's.
McDonald's. 1940.
Not to be confused with McDowell's in Coming to America.
Right. Yep. That was great.
Isn't
And
there
finally,
isn't there like an actual one in New York that's like a blatant ripoff of McDonald's too? Like Whack-Donald's or McDonald's. It's something
I
like
didn't know
that.
that's actually hilarious if that's
have
true.
you seen Coming to America?
I've seen bits and pieces
Very,
when I
very
got
funny.
COVID,
Very
my senior year of high school.
Hmm.
And finally, and this one I told John if he gets this wrong, I don't even know what to do. On this day in 1982, this very famous song two very famous artists, began its 7-week run at #1 on the pop charts.
What year is
Beautiful
this?
song. What? 1982.
Hall knows.
No, beautiful song based on a musical instrument, but had a wider message about
Hum it for us.
what?
Hum the song for us.
That's all. That's all I got.
Oh, Ebony and Ivory.
Yes.
Yes.
Ebony and Ivory began
Ah.
its 7-week run, #1 on the pop charts. And that was on this
That's-
day.
That was pretty poor humming of Ebony and Ivory.
I
No,
got
it
it. I
wasn't.
got it at the end.
Like you didn't do the chorus.
That could be anything. That could
No, that's
literally
near
be any
the end
song.
where they're going.
I did the most
Ivory.
famous part of the song. I did the Ebony and Ivory.
Nah,
That's
the
most
faster
famous
part.
of the song.
The faster part is the
First
most
of all,
famous
calm
part
down.
of it.
No, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous statement.
Well, fortunately, guys, we have Paul McCartney joining us.
We've wasted 37 minutes due to your humming.
You're an idiot. Kyle, how did you not know my song?
Big Temple sports fan. Just a bibbity bop here and a scoobity doo here.
Paul McCartney's famous quote.
As usual, I find myself struggling to find a segue out of this segment.
I'm blaming this one on Declan.
No way. No way.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
Temple got a verbal commitment over the weekend. You can read about him on owlscoop.com. If you're an owlscoop.com subscriber, you'll full access to my story on Collin Vaughn. I think this guy's got a really cool story. Played at 2 Division II programs and an NAIA program before committing to Temple last week. Committed, I don't know, maybe middle of last week, announced his decision Sunday. 47 tackles, 9.5 tackles for a loss, and a sack for a team that went 8-4 and advanced to the first round of the NCAA Division II playoffs from Limestone University. Chose Temple over Utah State. Had about maybe close to about 9 or 10 D1 offers, a couple of FCS offers. I think we said in a previous episode that they might, with a few of the scholarships available, they might be adding some defensive line depth, considering they just, they had Jason Moore in for spring ball from Georgia Tech. He hits the portal. So this addresses a need for him. Yes, I think they're going to be considering another quarterback. I think you'll probably see a couple more commitments coming up in the next week or so. If you're an owlscoop.com subscriber, Kyle posted some recruiting scoop on the boards earlier this week. Again, we're going to save that for our subscribers. Some interesting developments there. We'll play part of my interview here with Collin Vaughn. Like I said, he's got a really cool story. A guy that has his bachelor's degree in hand, almost has a master's degree, could have very easily just said, I'm going to play one more D2 season, but this is kind of indicative of a trend that you're seeing. I mean, he is by far not the only D2 player who's transferred up to the D1 level, not just in basketball, but football. A guy that could potentially play sideline to sideline, really, really motivated to get to this point. Really enjoyed my conversation with him. So again, if you subscribe to Owl Scoop, you'll get access to the full interview. But here's a part of our conversation about him just talking about like his play style, what he thinks he can bring to Temple. He grew up in Landover, Maryland, and somehow ended up as an Eagles fan. He's a big, big Eagles fan, was actually at the Super Bowl parade, made the trip up, has one more season of eligibility left. But here's part of our conversation from Sunday night. What did they like about you when they first reached out to you? What did Coach Beckwith say when he introduced himself? What did they like about your film?
I think Coach Beck loved my fast switch, being able to get to the ball. When I was on my visit, he kept iterating, like, look at where you're making his tackles. Like, you're a defensive tackle making tackles on the numbers. So that's like basically on the sideline. So I'm basically sideline to sideline. That's what he loved about my mobility and my range for my size. So that's one thing that he was intrigued with when he first got on the phone with me. And he showed me my own film when I got there to Temple.
All right, so stay locked into owlscoop.com for the latest football and basketball recruiting news. Again, just a reminder, nothing new necessarily that broke over the past weekend for Temple basketball. Again, Diane Richardson has her roster set, as Declan discussed a couple weeks ago. Adam Fisher and his staff have 2 more scholarships left available. We'll see if they use both of them, if they use one. Keep your eyes peeled there. Again, just a reminder that we are the spot to come to for these one-on-one interviews with these recruits as they sign, as they commit, both in the basketball and the football fronts. Wanted to give a shout out to the men's crew team, the Temple men's crew team. They won 4 medals, 1 gold, 2 silvers, and a bronze at the Dadvale Regatta over the weekend. They finished second in the men's point standings and 3rd overall in points. Grace Crosby, who shot some photos for us, men's and women's basketball photos over the season. She was part of the crew as the coxswain on the crew that won the gold. So wanted to congratulate Grace on the great work that she did over the weekend. We've got Jaleel White, as you guys all know by now, is transferring to LaSalle. I think we hinted a couple of weeks ago that he would end up at a Big 5 program. Will end up playing his last season of college basketball for Fran Dunphy, who announced that he was coming back. The LaSalle socials had fun with that a few weeks ago, where Fran said something like, "I never really left."
Yeah.
So Jaleel will be playing at LaSalle after entering the portal. Before we get to the mailbag here, and it's going to, like we said, it's going to be a bit of an abbreviated episode. Before we get to the mailbag, Declan,
you want to do my thing
an
first?
idea for
Cool.
some fun summer content. Don't forget, we'll still have a lot of guests for you this summer. We will continue our Getting to Know the Owls series with some of the players, not just the new players that come into the fold, like a Dylan Battie or an Aiden Tobiasen, or the guys that have joined them through the portal, but also some of the guys that have returned, like Steve Settle, like Matteo Piccarelli, Shane Dezzoni, Quante Berry, players like that. We'll have some football guests. We'll have some basketball guests. But Declan had talked about, bringing some fun non-sports related content on for these leaner summer months.
Yes.
So you're dipping into your own
my own
brain
vault of
power here, right?
ideas. Yes. This is a segment that we did on our radio show, Johnny and me. We had a radio show last year. It was a Saturday morning show. And around the time of March Madness.
On NPR, right?
No, on WHIP radio. Check it out.
Hourglass presents the best food.
That'd be kind of sweet, actually. But so we had this idea for a bracket where we ranked different food places on and around campus, and
on or around this campus,
and it didn't go great. Twitter, not a fan. Which, looking back on it, like I looked at it, I did a 1 year sort of look back on it. It's awful. I can't even lie. It's very bad. But I thought
presence of chain restaurants.
But we're gonna get to that because we're in contest about that. But we want to reprise that over these summer months.
Good word.
And thank you very much. Former editor. And we want to reprise that, and we want to get you involved. You are our faithful Scoop listeners. And I think we want to run it back. We want to see which places on Temple's campus are really the best sitting here in 2024. So we'll introduce a couple of the top seeds. You're going to have a chance over the next week to add in any places that you feel deserve to be part of the list and part of the rankings. We're going to do this over the next few weeks or so and really, hash it out and give it the respect it deserves, because this is a burning question. This is something that we can use for generations to come, okay, as a time capsule of this very year, So I think we're also going to have a couple questions, which I will pose after introducing some of the spots. Like I mentioned, tweet at us, hit us up on the message boards. What places do you think need to be included?
Are you telling me right now, sorry to interrupt, you're telling me what the top 4 seeds are going to be right now?
No, I'm saying
right.
These are some of the seeds that could potentially be the top.
I want to interrupt.
Okay.
If you seed this the same way you did last year, I'm looking at it now.
Okay, first of all,
not the restaurants, not the restaurants, nothing to do with the food. If you do a 1 through 37 instead of just doing the traditional, like there's 4 1 seeds and 4 2 seeds, or like whatever it might be,
okay,
I'm done with this. Like we're not doing and the 36 seed upsets the no.
In all fairness, I just put it in a generator and it did it for me. So that's why it looks like
Is
that.
that why
Our
Fames
sleeves up
made
this time.
the playing game?
I thought you were gonna. Well, in fairness, and I don't want to get ahead of myself here. Fames deserves to be in the playing game. Okay,
Ooh.
let's be real.
Yikes.
I don't even think Bagel Hut made this because it's too
No, it
bougie
didn't.
now.
But at that time, it got shut down. Like we hadn't had it. So that's what I'm saying. Like we had a lot of omissions because either we just hadn't had it or like we didn't know any better. And
Are
I
we
think
going 64 here? Are we going 64?
I think we're gonna get as many as we can.
So there's 64 food options.
I'm going to cap it at $64. Well, I mean, we'll get to that.
64.
100%. If people like send in more than 64, I'm cutting it off. We're done.
Are we good? So we could either end up with like an NIT field of 32
Yeah.
or NCAA field of 64.
I honestly think we'll end
up.
up more toward the 32. But that's not a bad thing because either way, we're going to have weeks of content here and we're going to have plenty of ways for you at home to get involved, which is what I'm trying to get to here. But you guys keep, we're going to have time for questions, we got
I
to.
was going to say, no, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So we'll get
You
to.
don't even have Pub Web on this. I assume because you were just a wee lass and you didn't.
We got Pub Web on the new list, and you're absolutely correct. That's why. But these are just some examples of places that we were coming up with before the show, Rymir and I. So we've got Richie's and Richie's Cafe, two separate entities because that was a point of contention last year among some people in the room. We've got Maxie's, Pub Web, Bagel Hut, Kyle. We also have Bagel Shop, which is kind of the competing entity. You've got Nanu's, the newest food truck, which, maybe for the younger crowd. Orient Express, which is John's favorite place on the wall. We've got Azteca, Eddie's, Fames, and Hank's right now. So if you have any opportunity to send in some names, please do. We also have a couple questions, which I will post to the group here. And if you want to chime in online before next week, obviously we have to divide it up into regions, right? That's where I think chains restaurants have a place in this tournament. I think that we should divide them into 4 regions: chains, lunch, dinner, breakfast, food truck.
So someone will come out of the breakfast region, some will come out of the
I think
chain
so.
region. Okay.
I think that's the best way to
Not bad.
divide it because when you think about it, you think about the options on campus. I think that's the best way to hit all the different sort of meals that you could find. And we probably will have to do some meandering in the finer points, and there's going to probably be some controversy with the seating, but that just makes it more fun.
Can I suggest one more thing because I want to embrace all generations of our listeners?
Okay.
Can we include some places that no longer exist,
Sure.
like the Pizza Hut that existed on campus?
Well, if the Taco Bell makes it in, I'm
1994?
voting it through.
98.
If
I'm saying
the Taco Bell
the pizza was not there when I was there. Yeah, the Sack Taco Bell that expired in
The Sack
2008.
Taco Bell.
Sneaky
someone
number
finds
one.
its way on the bracket, it's going the
I
whole
love
way.
it.
I'm sorry, it's going the whole way.
Student Center, Taco Bell, the Pizza Hut. My buddy Andrew Goldstein, who's been on the pod before, is now with Amazon, Wondery in their podcast division. He would argue that and I don't know what it was called, but when we were in school here in the late 90s, it was a place where you could get Chinese food and donuts in the same place.
Oh, that might be the final.
Yeah.
Taco Bell versus that place.
I mean, the draft horse.
That's like half dog.
A lot of people like that, but that was before my time too. So.
Where Maxie's is now, there used to be a place called the Salad Alley. So if you want to embrace like the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, I think we gotta reach
Generations that are notorious for how much they're on Twitter.
Hey.
Well, we can put it on Facebook too.
Hey.
And we can put it on Instagram. That way
Yeah.
we're reaching everybody.
Put it
The
on
full
MySpace.
spectrum. Well,
MySpace.
good luck with that. But
MySpace.
yes, I think that's a great idea. I think we should, like I said, we should open up to everybody. But if you're gonna put a place like that, you're gonna have to explain it. You're gonna have
Okay.
to make your case. I think that's only fair. I think
Okay.
if you make your case to us as to why it should be, because the 3 of us, we don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's not our wheelhouse.
the 3 of
So,
us, meaning
meaning
you,
the
Remy,
3
and
younger
Johnny.
guys. I was making eye contact with Johnny and Rymir, but it's okay. I understand. But I'm saying, like, if you make your case to us, we're going to be fair.
Okay.
But like so much of this is just like, I don't know, like things falling off. Like Crepe Truck being 36. Crepe Truck was like a top 8 place when I was there. And
But
now
that's
it's the
because it was
second to last
cheaper.
one in.
It made more sense, and nowadays it's like, there's
You
not
have
as much bang
City
for your buck.
View. You had City View 8 seeds higher than it.
Oh yeah.
I would look,
Kyle's
bang for your
going
buck.
back again and realizing like just how
Like,
Look,
are these like in their prime things? Like, are we viewing like, okay, Crepe Truck in 2024, or are we viewing Crepe Truck when it was like, putting up 28 and 10? Like,
I think that's where the debate's got to come in. I think the fact that the crepe truck is still standing and yet here it is, like this.
I think
It's gonna
there
be tough
needs to
for-
be strong leadership from the top on this. Otherwise, people are going to go, they're not going to be working off the same scoring system. You're going to have some people voting off popularity. You're going to have some people voting off nostalgia. You're going to have some people voting off actual quality of the food. I think the commissioner of this, for lack of better options, it's going to be you, Declan, needs
boy.
to be the one to tell us
Okay, here's my
what the
statement on
system
that.
is.
Here's my statement on that. I'm gonna draw a hard line, not a hard line, but I'm gonna draw a line because I think if a place is still standing, you have to go off the opinion of what it is now, because that's the reality of the situation. Now, I will listen to your argument, but I think there's a reason that it changed. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for example, and I'm not going to get too into this because I think we should save it for next week. But if Crepe Truck changed its prices and now the bang for the buck isn't as much. Sure, the food's good, but part of the reason people were going there is because it was $4, right? Now I hardly see a line out there in peak hours.
Maybe
there's a reason for that.
Maybe you could have more crepes from the crepe truck if John wasn't making you spend $40 each way to take Amtrak to come up here.
It's a great point. So it's hard to argue with that as well.
That's how John DiCarlo affects the food ecosystem.
It's hard to argue with that.
Every decision has its consequences.
And I don't see 7-Eleven on here. I don't see my 2 for $3 taquitos from 7-Eleven that I lived off of for a year and a half.
There's a reason.
You might be the only person on
Nope. I'm going to assure you I
I
wasn't.
will dive into the older bracket because there was a committee, okay? And there were people online, not naming names, that were going to pretend like they weren't members of the committee that made a lot of the decisions that went under the bracket. Okay, so
JE.
No comment.
Did we reference him earlier in this podcast?
Under the advice of counsel, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right. Now,
Aren't you your own counsel, or your alter ego is your own counsel?
No, that's
actually,
John.
Riley Ravish is my counsel, and he let me know.
Get your own. Get your own.
That chime in presented to you
I've
by
hired
Bridget
Riley
Landis.
For a while. Just goes, get your own.
I've literally hired Riley Ravish, but it's cool. There's online proof. I just think the biggest part of this is going to be the interaction, right? If you want to make your case about a place that maybe is past its prime but still standing, the commissioner's going to listen, because at the end of the day, we are all voting here, okay? I'm just going to argue that change happened for a reason. It doesn't just come out of nowhere. And I think we got to consider everything about a place rather than just bits and pieces of it.
So what we're going to do, you're saying over the next week, is we're going to solicit some feedback on the message boards, Twitter, Instagram, and then we as the selection committee are going to seed these places.
That's correct.
And
next
the four
week.
regions are going to be chain restaurants, breakfast places,
Lunch, dinner,
and what's the fourth?
food trucks.
What about isn't there going to be overlap there? What about a
Well,
late
be
night?
a ton
thing?
of overlap.
Shouldn't there be a late night section? This is hey, this place is great.
That's the thing, though. There aren't really on
3.
campus. There's not a lot of late night places anymore.
It's just going to all be Chinese food places.
Yeah, I mean,
Late
it's like Maple Star, Temple Star, Maxie's, Pub Web, Nanu's.
Couldn't the regions be based on actual geography, stuff that's
Ooh,
Sure,
that's
we can do that.
you're going to
So
cut
do you
a
wanna-
lot of things out there.
Do you want to break it up at the bell tower then? We do four quadrants.
If you looking at the bell tower, facing
Look, I'm open to suggestions here.
We'll sort that out. We'll sort
Yeah.
that out.
Nobody's,
We'll sort that out.
quick.
I'm just gonna say
Nobody's
this.
got any suggestions?
I'm going to say this. Before we talked about this, I said, hey, I support this. Do whatever you want to do, but I might not be able to participate that much because I'm not that plugged into it anymore. To any companies out there, any restaurants out there, any trucks out there, I will blindly go to bat for you if you slide into my DMs. If you
I
provide
am
me
not
a
opposed
gift
to an NRL
card
deal.
or a little grease in the palms, I will die for you. I will die on that
Look,
hill
if
for
you-
you. I
if you
will
wanna
I will
sponsor
argue
the
whatever
bracket.
argument you want me to make.
If you want to sponsor the bracket, we will put you through.
Yeah, you the number one seeds are for sale. I just period. They are in the NCAA too, even if they don't want to admit it. They want those marquee names to be the number one seeds. Ours, we're just the door's open, okay? Even though I'm pointing to our
We
closed
have
door.
8
The door's
number one
open.
seeds.
Yeah.
Come buy a seed.
At the tied first seed.
All right, so
So we got to work on
next week.
We got to work on regions, which is
Yeah.
fine. We can introduce that at Selection Wednesday next week. Chains. It sounds like chains count then. I think they should.
Okay, yeah.
I think they should, because at the end of the day, these are places you can eat on Temple's campus. And I think
Yes.
that's the heart of what we're discussing here.
All right. So we got some work to do
Yeah.
between this week and next week.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
But either way, there's going to be a public vote. Your voice is going to count toward the decision making. We'll do it every week. We'll release it every week. And probably a 24-hour voting period, just so we can keep the matchups going, until like later rounds, when it's open for a little longer.
Later rounds, I'm going to make Johnny debate the reason why he's voting for it.
I think it's a good idea.
Come prepared. 5 minutes,
it's a
like
good
the
idea.
floor is yours, and then counterpoint.
I will do that.
Where is the Final Four this year?
The
Maryland
Owl
House.
Scoop offices.
The Maryland House rest stop.
The Owl Scoop offices. We're actually holding it during the barbecue. So, chop chop. You better make it happen.
All right.
But yeah, so get your recommendations in for the bracket. Either way, we're gonna have Selection Wednesday next week, and more details to come. So be active on the message boards, be active on Twitter, and tag us if you want to. It's up to you. I'll try and find them either way.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Stay ready. Next man up mentality on this. Let's get to the mailbag. Well, we got a couple funny ones that we got. I threw the mailbag ask out to the Temple basketball Facebook page. I got a couple funny ones there. Let's get to the one from the message boards first, from Park Al. This is one from one of our subscribers. There have been a lot of comments the past few weeks of the quote, they just need a blank and they could make the tournament variety. Which Temple player from the past 10 seasons using their best season, if added to the current roster, would most likely turn it into a tournament team? Kyle, you want to go first on this one?
Sure. I have two trains of thought on this. One is like who would fit the best for this team, and then one is just I'll start with that. The who would fit the best for this team. People might groan at this. I think Obi Neshionia would fit perfectly on this team. An athletic big. He was like a 38% 3-point shooter by the end. I think he'd be plug and play on this team. He'd be the closest thing to like a true big man that they have, even though he's not a traditional big man. My other line of thought is just like add the best player they can to this team. And in that case, it'd be Shiz Alston, who I think was the best player in the last 10 years. Yeah,
I had a similar idea with like athletic forward. Jalen Bond was somewhat decent in his senior season.
He just earned his master's degree on
it. My concern with him would be spacing offensively.
Definitely, but is like off the bat is just a guy that can go get you boards and can score as well.
He literally changed like that entire team when he sits out the year between Texas and Temple. Him coming in just changed their entire defensive identity. I would agree.
Which is what this team needs. So
if it's pure talent over fit, I would make a case for Will Cummings, but then you've got like, how do you split up your minutes there between Lingrier and Will Cummings? The sort of adjacent question, and like Declan and I were talking about this before we started recording, your mind drifts to Lavoy Allen, and then you realize, oh, wow, that was more than 10 years ago. If Lavoy Allen was within 10 years, he's the easy answer. And Road Owl, another one of our subscribers, said, my instant reaction when I read this was Lavoy Allen. I quickly realized I was old and Voy hasn't been here for 13 years. And then I responded to Road Owl and said, would you care to rephrase that in the form of a question? And then he wrote back, which Temple player from the past 13 seasons, if added to the current roster, would most likely turn it into a tournament team?
Good question.
Real super quick digression. Want to congratulate Michael Eric. He was inducted into the Church Farm School Hall of Fame. Wouldn't qualify for this, but Michael Eric was a very underrated big on those teams. Gosh, if they'd had him, he was out the year that they played San Diego State, right?
Correct. That was when they had to go with Lavoy and Relier, and they both had to play 15 minutes.
Yeah. So Michael Eric wouldn't fit into that either. But do you throw Kyle? What about like
real quick? I'm gonna make a little Church Farm School joke. Did he have to go in the tunnel under 30 to get to his Hall of Fame? Chester County. It's a weird campus divided by like an highway.
Yeah, it has that little tunnel. I get that.
I didn't.
To all of our Exton and Fraser,
to all our suburban Chester County listeners, you might have somehow been there. Sometimes you get off the bypass and go, do I want to take the bypass all the way to downtown, or do I want to get off early and go past like Church Farm?
It's a choice we make.
It's all deadly.
I think about that once a day.
Kyle thought about that last Wednesday when I was traveling out to see my mom.
Oh. Did you get off early? You take that right, you go down to Church Farm? No.
But I thought about it.
Yeah.
Thought about it. Would you go like a Quentin DeCozy here?
So I thought about that too, because athletic wing. I thought about him and Quentin Rose. I think of those two,
Yeah.
Quentin DeCozy, just because by the end he was like a pretty decent 3-point shooter, strong as hell. I think he would have the ability to get to the rim pretty easily on that team too, which you hope the spacing's better this year and that's more doable. I think DeCozy is up there too. I think DeCozy is one of those guys that people maybe don't appreciate how good he was towards the end of his career.
Yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts on this one? I know you guys didn't cover some of the teams on the earlier side of this range.
It's reflective of Temple's issues with bigs that you have to one extend it to 13 to get back to Lavoie. And then after Jalen Bond, like, I mean, Ernest Laflackby was decent by the end, but like no one's gonna say Ernest Laflackby to add to this team.
The only place that like I really thought of after that was Jameel Reynolds, like in terms of forwards, but he just would not fit on this team. So,
yeah.
Like that's a
would be
back to the
interesting.
basket ISO guy. Like
I
he
mean,
would
he-
not.
He shot the three a little bit.
Yeah, but not.
It was infrequent
consistent
enough that it was like, oh crap, Jamil Reynolds just shot a three. Like,
right, exactly,
yeah.
exactly. Which is I just don't think would fit, but talented guy. So
What did Johnny say?
he
Sorry,
didn't-
I stepped out.
He did.
I didn't say anything.
I was gonna say Jamil, but like you said, Declan, I don't think he'd really fit very well because I think the offense would just be too fast paced for him to really keep up with it too.
Just based in who I've covered so far, I'd say Nick Jordan.
That's interesting.
That's
Just-
good. Yeah.
Just because
Yeah,
they need size, how athletic he is.
He's
He
a
can
good
run-
defender.
they need a rim protector, and he's a good
Yeah.
rim protector. So yeah,
Mhm.
I would agree. That's
Good
fair.
call.
I played some of his best minutes in a Temple uniform in that win at Houston last year.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
a big part of that.
Which feels like a lifetime ago.
Yes. It's interesting
And a half.
question there. The two that we got from the Facebook group, the one, just a funny one from Glenn Phillips, who submitted questions to us before. John, will you be able to keep the show on the rails this week? LOL, unlike the Greer the Third and Brown episode. Well, clearly not really, because
What did we talk about in the Lynn? What did we talk about in the Lynn Greer and Brown one? That was so
I don't know.
outrageous.
That one was keep the show on the rails. I'm like, I don't know.
What week would that have been? I can look at the script.
I don't know.
That
I don't
was
know what we got
35,
into
right?
there.
35.
Sure. But I don't know that we've
Glad to
kept
see
the show
y'all
on the
are-
rails. This
I don't
week.
think
mean, we-
so. I honestly, not to answer this like seriously, but like, I know that people do complain about that sometimes. I don't want to be part of a show where we just follow a regimented
yeah.
thing. So
No.
we're wobbling, but we're still on the rails.
Like our old intern Dalton Balthaser used to say, the sometimes serious, sometimes silly mailbag.
Yeah. But
Yes.
Dalton would not have put up with our silliness prior to the mailbag. He would have
No.
told us to save it for
Dalton
the
was
mailbag.
a rigid taskmaster.
Where's the fun in that? Where's
Yes.
the banter?
Oh,
Where's
you
the
know what?
personality?
Whether it was fear, respect, or love, John and I adhered to it. We said,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, we'll keep
Yeah.
the silliness for the mailbag.
That's so lame.
Declan was Dalton,
Declan, wow.
very regimented human being.
Yeah, that Declan very regimented. Very regimented. That was the week that Johnny did not answer the Goodwill Hunting question as well
Oh.
as the music
So I was
question.
wait. So I wasn't even on it that week.
You
How
weren't?
how off rails did you guys get? Am I your North Star? Do I keep you on
Like
track?
North Star.
Well, it was your question.
I don't know. Talk to
I would say let's bump the brakes
You
a
gotta
little
take
bit.
that up with Glenn, pal.
I would say you're our spiritual leader, Kyle.
No, thank you. What does that mean for John?
John's like our boss, John's
Oh,
the
on the
boss.
way out.
Get a boss.
Do I have to bring up the org chart again? That I am also your boss.
Well, I mean, you are. Like it's like true. I know my place.
The other
in
question
line.
here from another person from the Facebook group, Jake Rondinero. Should we be concerned about Jaleel White leaving for LaSalle, or was there truly not going to be enough playing time for him? Concerned in the, I would have to ask Jake if you're saying like about the optics of it. Should we be concerned about Jaleel White leaving for LaSalle? I don't think you should be concerned in terms of if you're talking about optics. I like Jaleel a lot. He just graduated from Klein. He's going to go on play for a very good head coach in Fran Dunphy. The way it played out was the way it played out. This was not a situation where LaSalle came along and poached Ja from Temple. Just to be respectful about it, like that's about as much as I can say there. It played out the way it played out. Jaleel entered the portal. I think it's going to be a good fit for him, but this wasn't a situation where the optics look bad for Temple if that's what Jake is asking here. That makes sense.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I mean, I think even just from a basketball standpoint, if he had come back, his role was probably going to be similar to what it was towards the end of the year last year.
Mhm.
So, like, I think it just made sense on both sides.
Yeah. So, well, between now and next week, guys, we have some work to do with this food extravaganza that we have launched ourselves into.
Yep. Give us your thoughts. I'll start a thread on the message board. See if
should.
anybody responds.
Do you know how to do that? Engage.
So, did we go off the rails? Maybe we did. Did we just
I was
embrace
gonna say,
the
I'm
food
glad
culture
we
example?
ended the show on the serious question.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that it feels like we were
a
together
little
the
bit of
whole
everything
time.
this week. So,
Yeah, we were put together.
all right, good stuff, guys. All right,
I got
thank
a
you all.
question.
Yes.
If you had to be a type of pastry, what type of pastry would it be?
Biscuit.
Is a biscuit a pastry? Great, great. I don't think so. Biscuit's not pastry.
Well, what defines pastry?
Sweet.
Yeah, like the sweet, like
But like a
Pretty sweet.
croissant's
It's-
not sweet.
a pastry is the
True.
dessert aspect of breakfast.
Okay, that's fair. Well, then what's a biscuit?
A biscuit's like a bread. Like it's like a side
Mhm.
that's like a carb loaded side. Like a donut is not a side, right? It's the
It's like the
end
main-
to the
yeah.
breakfast, or if it's the own thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna say apple
Big
fritter.
Texas.
an apple.
Oh, Big Texas. Big Texas. Texas is a great answer.
What is a big Texas?
The
Is it-
vending machine icon, the purple Big Texas cinnamon roll.
Oh, gotcha.
Amazing.
Not even a honey bun. I'm shocked by that out of you, actually.
Nah, honey buns have fallen off for me.
Mm.
Wait, what type
It's
of
a
honey bun?
half-court
Though?
shot to close
The
it
little
out.
Debbie's.
No. Like they have like the one with like the white frosting or just the
Oh,
glaze.
the regular one. the
Okay,
regular
good.
one.
That's the correct answer too. Ramir coming in 2 for 2 on this.
Ramir knows his
just hit
food.
from
man.
half court with Kevin Harlan praising him.
Screaming
But that's
right
kind of
at
more
him.
like Marv Albert.
That shot was awesome.
Yeah.
That
I'm gonna
the
say
shot and then the like picture of
Yeah.
Harlan and oh man.
I'm gonna
so
say
cool.
apple fritter, but there's 2 different types of apple fritters. There's some where they have the apple like built into the apple fritter, like it's with the rest of the bread, and there's other where they have a little like magma core of apple filling.
Yes,
That's the better
yes.
one. So that's the one I am.
100%.
So the stuffed apple.
Yeah.
What a
fritter.
geological vibe there. The magma core.
Big rock guy.
Big rock. I took geology at Temple. I took geology at Temple. That was my science.
There
A lot
you
under
go.
the surface there.
Big rock guy.
Johnny, how about this one? Pastry. What kind of pastry
I
would you be?
I like a good chocolate filled croissant. Like
It's
a
good.
That's a good answer.
like that's a good one.
I can't think it like
The old tasty cakes eclairs before they made them like
Oh,
nerfed them down to like not as
Yeah.
filled and not as frosted and everything. That was also me.
So is a
we've-
cookie a pastry then?
nah.
What type of cookie?
Oh,
This is really
interesting.
Because there's some
Guys, is it a hot
cookies.
dog and sandwich?
There's some cookies
it
that
is.
have that like filling on the outside almost. Like it's almost kind of more of like Danishy cookie. Those I would consider a pastry. A chocolate chip cookie or something like that, not a pastry.
So like a half moon cookie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's got like the icing on top.
Right. That's pastry adjacent. I would accept that.
Okay, then that'd be my answer.
That's you, the half moon cookie.
Yes. Because
Is it
I'm not fully committed, you know. I'm commitment adjacent.
Is
I'd be,
cannoli?
Is
I'll
a
get these.
cannoli a pastry? Yeah, I would say cannoli is a pastry.
That was what I was gonna say. I'd be a cannoli. I'd be a
sorry.
cannoli. I was gonna say
Does
you
it-
guys will tease me for
Does that fit the breakfast thing though?
I was just saying that's
that's
not
a
a breakfast
Mm.
one. You said, Kyle.
pastries.
Mm.
Don't have to be.
I've
breakfast.
completely forgotten about that. I have cookies.
Wait, did you say Kyle? Did you say breakfast?
No, I don't
was sort
think
of
they don't
breakfast
have
pastry?
they don't have to be breakfast. I just use it as like how I would describe a pastry
Okay.
is like the
Yeah.
dessert of
Okay.
breakfast. But I would say cannoli is definitely a pastry. Yeah.
I'd be a cannoli. I'd hang out at Iskro's or like Termini's all day. Smell some other good things. Coffee.
Yeah.
I had
If,
to have
John's the only one to
experience.
answer it of what we want to be because everyone else we just start talking about our favorite pastries. If we
I
put
would
it back
be
into
a
the
half moon
what
cookie.
would we want to be thing, Ramir's just hanging in a gas station vending machine.
Yeah.
Like
I love it.
like he's probably at the top. They're
What
usually
gas station
actually
would you be in?
no, the Big Texas is usually at the top or the bottom, rarely in the middle. It's either going to have the
Oh.
big fall or it's at the bottom from the vending machine.
You're at the top, obviously.
Gotta be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
obviously.
Ramir's
It's not a question.
gas station vending machines. Like, yeah, man, you might need a new credit card by next week.
Really?
Ramir
That
gets
dollar
stuck.
bill?
People
That's
are
not
shaking
gonna
it.
Sit it back. Dollar bill's too
I'm a
wrinkled.
cannoli, and hey, man, if you're lactose intolerant and you don't like me, I'll be out of your system.
I guess I've never had a good cannoli. Because I just,
Yeah.
Johnny just shook his head at me.
That was I don't even.
No, speak your truth.
No, I was
You haven't
just
talked much.
Johnny, we addressed this about a month ago. We are here for you. If you want to get
Is that
some
why you
stuff
cut
up.
him off as he was talking?
That's what I'm saying. Like Mrs. Landis tries to paint the picture that we are the bad guys keeping Johnny down, that we're the wolves at the door. Maybe he's keeping himself down. Okay? Maybe he's not speaking his mind here.
Go ahead, Johnny.
I was just making fun of what John said with the canola, whatever joke he tried to make with the lactose intolerant. I just really wasn't.
Was
My
it
sis-
unnecessary, perhaps? Yeah.
My sister's 40th was this weekend, and my brother is vegan, and there were Jello shots, and gelatin is not vegan. It's made from horse hooves. But I guess he
That's right.
decided that, you know what, it's her 40th, I will abide. Turns out when you're a vegan for 30 years and then you decide to have gelatin, I mean, think he apparently had a rough night. After that.
That makes sense.
Poor Chris.
It's a tough break. Tough break, man.
Covered a lot of ground once again.
I'd say we were as close to staying on the rails as you could be.
Yeah.
Rail adjacent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Real
like-
nice.
Yes.
like a half moon cookie. We were the half moon cookie of podcasts.
Marble rye. That's not a pastry.
Nope, I have no idea what that is.
Good Seinfeld episode. Anyway, we'll have more for you next week. Again, stay locked into Owl Scoop. If you have not subscribed yet to owlscoop.com.
What are you doing?
Exactly. Again, the only place where you're going to get one-on-one interviews with the most recent basketball and football recruits. We'll have more on your way. Thanks for sticking with us for another episode. We will talk to you guys